Travis Medway says Cena's turn was theater. It was excellent, but it was a theatrical turn, not emotional. We're praising it rather than feeling it. Hogan's turn made people mad. We are consuming Cena, playing heel, and enjoying the experience. I think maybe
that's before you go off. And I'm sorry. You may agree. I don't know. I understand the nature of this question, Travis. And it's deep. That's a deep question, really, is what are we reacting to in the fact that Travis did, isolated something that I've heard often from people in the industry, experienced guys who at the very top of their games, whether it be Randy Savage or Sting or Hogan or whomever, I've heard it a million times, is the difference between a really, really top level professional wrestler and somebody who's really, really good is the ability to play a character you believe and not play a character that you think is a professional wrestler. And that subtle distinction between being the character and playing the character is the difference. It's night and day. So it's a good question. I don't want to dismiss the question. Now, I think in terms of emotion, I mean, it's right. We talked about this yesterday, Conrad. I said something to the effect of, I think the Hogan turn had more, he got more of a visceral reaction. And if you put the two crowds up, still shots, video, if you can, if you look at the finish of both of those matches, Hogan's obviously, and Cena's with Rock and Cody, put them up and forget about what's going on inside the ring. Focus on what's going on outside of the ring. And the only way you can really measure anything like this, or at least, if you have any level of intellectual curiosity, which most of you do, otherwise you wouldn't be here. You'd be reading some dirt sheet from Dave. Look a little bit more closely at the story itself and how John is playing it. That's what I'm hopeful for, Travis. I'm hopeful that we'll feel this character because it will be so unique. We'll see a different side of John's character that we didn't know really even existed. And it will be interesting and compelling. That's what I'm hoping for the very reason you brought that question up.
Kevin says, today WWE just launched an all WCW YouTube channel, and I'm binging old 90s WCW entrance stages, or who was responsible for those entrance stages. The glittery curtains look to me so tacky for wrestling. It looks more like a game show or a high school prom.
Well, who's responsible for it? Is that the question? I'm sorry. I was kind of laughing.
I think you just wanted to, hear who was responsible for set design.
I think, it depends. I mean, there's always been, David Crockett has always had a hand in it. Early WCW was tacky as hell. There was no budget. The company was losing millions and millions and millions of dollars every year. So there wasn't, we were allowed to, and I say, wait, this is during a period of time when I was just an announcer, right? So I wasn't involved in any of the discussions back then, but, the budget, nobody wanted to give WCW any money, so everybody made best with what to do with what they had. And I think everybody that was doing it, actually, I'm a little offended by that. Not by the question, but that people would think that, it was just, well, we're just, we don't really care. We're just going to use this cheap game show looking shit. We just did the best we could with what we had. Or WCW did the best they could with what they had at that time.
We did a poll here and asked everyone watching, does the Cena turn make sense? 43% say yes, he wants the title that bad. 50% say they're excited to find out. And 7% say it was too out of character. We got another question here. So back when I was 12, one kid got WrestleMania 5, didn't like me, invited all the other neighborhood kids over except me. I did my penance watching Steamboat and Flair 2 on the Clash. Did he do me a favor that day?
That's you. Hey, Conrad, that's your question, brother. I couldn't tell you.
Flair Steamboat 2 was pretty awesome, but I was a big Hogan Savage guy. So I'm going to go WrestleMania 5. I hate that kid for you.
I'm so impressed that you can just pull that stuff right out. Just pull it right out of your pocket. I threw you that thinking, God, as I'm asking you that question, I'm thinking, God, what a dick. I wouldn't like it if somebody asked me a question that they know damn well I'm not going to be able to answer. And that's exactly what I thought I did by throwing that your way. And look at you, just answering like a mucker father. I love it.
Let's do another question here. I don't know if you saw this today, Eric, but it's got the internet pretty excited. Awesome Sauce wants to know, what are your thoughts on Earthquake and Typhoon going into the WWE Hall of Fame?
I think it's great. This is the first I heard it. I think it's great. Both those guys, man, they were, you look at the history of wrestling, in our lifetime, to our television lifetimes. And I'm obviously a little older than you, but still general area. It's like wrestling it's been on now it's on an upward trajectory. But if you look at the arc of popularity in professional wrestling, and I think the late 80s, early mid 80s, going into 87, 88, 89, it wasn't like the golden years of professional wrestling, but for where WWE was in their growth trajectory, that was one of the really cool periods. People were still reacting across the boards to that really animated character, the parodies, the Sergeant Slaughters, the Sheik, the playing off Iran, all that stuff. Some would work better than others, but you know what I mean? That was like that was the last, in my opinion, of that type of presentation where it was dominant in many ways. As time went on, the characters started changing a little bit more, and then now we've gotten into more of a, I don't want to call it a reality based, but not quite as gimmicky across the boards as it used to be. So everything has evolved. That was a great period of time, and both those guys were amazing performers at that time. And yeah, I'm happy for them up there and anywhere else, and their families and their friends and their fans.
Sad Man Steve is with us, and he wants to know, Eric, what are your thoughts on the Travis Scott situation with him slapping Cody?
Thought about that last night after we got done talking about it, and you were kind of smarting me up to some of the chatter on social media about it and how people felt about Travis getting involved. So I thought I'd go back and look at it. And I thought to myself, as I try to do, how would I feel if I was Cody?
Yeah.
Rather than me just passing judgment, which is what I'm trying to learn not to do, by the way. It's a personal kind of thing, but I work at it. So if you see me struggling sometimes, it's because I'm trying to find ways to say things that aren't quite as scar forming, if that's possible. But how do we start that out? I lost track what I was going to say.
Cody, Travis Scott.
Cody. So I thought, how would I feel if I was Cody? I would be so grateful. First of all, I would have known going in that this is not a possibility. It's probably better than 50-50, especially when you tell the guy to lay it in. I'm guessing, I don't know. I haven't texted or talked to anybody that would know. Sitting out here in the middle of Wyoming, me and my dog, my New York strip steak, and chicken. I bet Cody knew that there was a high likelihood, and I bet Cody pushed him because Cody also would know. I believe he would know that if that punch, if everything else has been done so well, they've laid this thing out. It's like it's a Broadway play. It's happening live on stage. No cutting, no editing, no redos. No, this is like live action film playing out in front of you. You don't want one of the last things that people see is some sloppy, pissy looking punch. You want it to look real. And Cody also, I'm sure, knows that when you're dealing with a celebrity, no matter what they say backstage and how comfortable, especially somebody that's performed at such a high level, obviously, it's really easy for them to convince you that they're really comfortable with what they're going to do. I've worked with a lot of quote unquote celebrities and even athletes that should know better. But Cody knew it, and I bet you Cody pushed him. And I bet you Cody's happy right now, because not only did the punch look freaking awesome, look devastating, people are talking about it.
Yep.
People are talking about Cody Rhodes and Travis Scott. If I was Cody, I would send him a Mercedes as a thank you.